What is going on, guys? This is TheMysticSpade, and I know a lot of you that watch my channel don't really watch it for fighting game videos or anything like that, but I had a couple of people that asked me on my live stream about this, and I purchased this HORI Real. If you can hear me, it's good. It's a HORI Real Arcade Pro V3 SA arcade stick for PS3. And it does work for PC as well. It doesn't work for Xbox. But all HORI arcade sticks, they're USB and they are functional with your PS3s and PCs natively. So you just plug it in, and as long as you're connected to the internet, you'll be able to download the drivers to make it work. It does work with certain emulators, you know, stuff like that. I can give you a list of the emulators that I use that this will plug and play with without any problem, if you have any questions for old school arcade games on your PC. But anyways, I wanted to show how sensitive this was, because I bought this used. Okay, this stick retails for $150, and I bought this used for $80 from a local shop, and it wasn't GameStop. I bought this local, and it's still very responsive. And I'm not sure if you can hear this, but if you can hear this click, I am barely moving the joystick, and that's the click that's on it. HORIs are native. They're made with Sanwa parts, which is probably the top of the line. Most people mod their sticks from the Mad Cat editions that you would get. They would mod them to the Sanwa parts, you know, just to make them more responsive. The buttons are super responsive, even though if you barely press them, but I kind of hammer down. I have a heavy hand. And it has a square gate in it, which I personally, I like octagon gates. I like octagonal gates. But it has a square gate, which is standard on most Japanese fighters. But anyways, I'm just going to show you how sensitive this is. And I'm definitely not a pro by any means. I'm not going to be able to show you anything like super in-depth or anything like that. But we're going to go ahead and just aim this down. That way you can see my Sheldon Cooper shirt here. Aim this down a little bit. That way you can just see the arcade stick. I'm going to back up so you can just see my hands. Okay, and then I'm going to put the game up here in the top left hand corner. I'm going to show you how sensitive this is. And once again, I'm far from professional, so I apologize if you're expecting to see some super high stakes stuff here, because I'm far from high stakes or anything like that. I'm just going to run through a couple of things, nothing really super major, because I just want to show you how effective it can be. Just go random all, no big deal. And this is for PS3. The Xbox version will actually be white with the Xbox color coordinated buttons. With this stick, they try to keep it in the same, I guess, minimalist design as the PS3, that's actually what I read on their website, with the black, the red, the gray, some gray usage in one button, the black, the red, and the white. But as you can see, the team I primarily run with is Virgil, just because I like Virgil. But as you can see, it's real responsive. You could probably hear the click, and I'm barely gonna put my hand on this button. I'm not even really pushing it. If you can see this, you can't even really hear it click, because that's how responsive it is. And it's just a great stick, personally. It's really functional, it's really fluid, I love it, you know. And it's taken a little bit for me to get used to, you know. I've since purchasing it, I've put probably a few hours into it, easily probably about 7, more than a few. But I'm definitely far from a great, you know, a great Marvel player or anything like that. I still haven't got the concept of wave dashing down or anything like that, but I'll get there. But like I said, it's real responsive. You barely rest your hand on the button and it'll go off. There's times where I naturally rest my hand like this. You know, this is where I leave my hands, and it's kind of weird because I use this finger, like my ring finger on this hand, on this, but sometimes I have it right here. My middle finger is always up. It's just a force of habit. But sometimes like I'll have it like this, which is a weird stance where my ring finger is actually in the middle. You can hear me hit this. But for Marvel, that's what I like, just because it's the layout that it has. But it's really responsive. You don't have to force it. You don't have to ride the rail, so to speak, because in a square gate you can feel the corners in that, whereas the front and whatnot you can't really feel. So Dragon Punch animations, which would be for his Rising Sun attack right there, or like, sometimes it's just a little off. But for that move right there, it requires a Dragon Punch input, and some people have problems with Dragon Punch inputs on a square gate just because they're not used to it. But it's just after you put some time into it and you get used to it, it's not that big of a deal once you put the time into it. You just have to get familiar with how the stick moves. Some people, depending on how you use the stick, I primarily use it like this, you know, just this 2 fingers and then this on the stick itself. But sometimes I'll find myself using it like this. But that's just how I'm used to it. And after playing with it for about 10 hours, I'm not professional by any means. I still have a hard time pulling combos off in an online environment, but you can actually train under 2 bars and whatnot to get acclimated to the lag. But one of my favorite Virgil combos is this one, not that one. If I could pull it off, is that one. That's probably like my bread and butter combo for Virgil when he has meter, is that one. But you can actually change that up to anything you want, you know, with the Judgment Cut. Oh, I missed it, whiffed it. But you can actually combo with the Judgment Cut, which I'm sure a lot of you know that, you know, just the Judgment Cut into it. Well, but anyways, that's really all I wanted to show you. There's not anything. Pad versus stick, controller versus stick, it all comes down to preference. Like, I am really good with a controller, that's what I'm used to, but I wanted to make the move to stick just because I just wanted to have the faster response, I guess you could say. That's just what I wanted to have for myself. And then plus, one thing for Akuma players, it's really weird, like with a stick you can actually shorten his Raging Demon input. Like there, it's 4 inputs. You know, it's jab, jab, forward, and then, or let me say, you know, light, forward, medium, heavy on this one. But you can actually just whiff it out. You know, by plinking. You know, you can literally just throw it out non-stop. Like as long as you have your commands right. And it comes out really quick. You know, like I said, I'm not really the type of person you should watch to learn how to get good at these games whatsoever. Like I'm not pro by any means. I like to play the game. And some people just like to watch me play these games, and I understand, because people like watching people get their asses whooped or so forth. But that's just how I use the stick. You know, like you have to figure out a way to get used to it. And one habit that I have is like anytime I throw a super, I have this bad habit of, you know, smack, like for fireball instances, for example, whenever I play, I'll like always bah, you know, and pull my hand off, which is really weird. And I don't know where I got that from, but that's just what I've always done. I'll just like always just flick it, you know, every time whenever I throw out a fireball or anything like that. And I don't know where I got it from or anything like that. It's how it happened, and I can't figure it out. You know, and I still do it to this day. It's just one of those weird things. It's always gonna be there, you know. But it's just like I said, you know, the buttons are really sensitive on this stick, so I haven't had the pleasure or displeasure, I guess you could say, of using the Mad Catz fight stick that they have, the tournament edition or anything like that, because some people said it's not good, some people said it is good. I remember when the Street Fighter 4, the regular Street Fighter 4 stick came out, there was a lot of people Online it was saying that it was made with Sanwa parts, and when it came out it actually really wasn't made with Sanwa parts. So that was a big kind of upset to a lot of people. But it's just one of those things you have, if you want to play with an arcade stick, and this is coming from me, and I've never used an arcade stick outside of Tekken 3 in arcades way back in the day. Like, it takes some dedication, and you got to get used to it. If you want to perform well with an arcade stick, and you see me dropping combos right now, if you want to perform well with an arcade stick, you have to put in the time and the dedication. It's not going to come naturally or anything like that. Just because you're good with a controller does not mean you will be good with a fight stick. I mean, that doesn't mean that at all. And that's what my problem was. Like, in my head, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, since I'm good with this, I should be good with this, and that wasn't the case. You know, you just have to put the time in. And as you can see, I mean, I can damn near pull out these Virgil bread and butters without any problem whatsoever. And it's just, you got to get used to it. But that's really it, guys. I just want to show you how sensitive this was. You know, like, it's, and like I said, I bought this used, so it's like I barely have to touch. My concern with buying this used was being able to, you know, if I had to hammer down the buttons, like if they were, you know, I guess really tortured before or anything like that. But they still are very functional without having to hammer them down, which is really, really good. And one of the things that I was looking for, because I didn't want to have to do any maintenance to this or anything like that. I just wanted to pick it up and go. And with this, the HORI Real Arcade Pro V3 SA, I'm extremely happy with it. I'm glad that I bought it. I'm really happy with the fact that I got it for 80 bucks. You know, so I mean, if you can find somewhere to where you could pick one up for 80 bucks, I would definitely recommend it, whether you're on PS3 or 360, because it's a good stick. It's going to have the same parts on both sides. And what made me decide to get this is I actually pre-ordered the Battle Edition of Injustice that comes with the what was it? That comes with the fight stick from PDP. You know, Performance Design Products or whatever. You know, it's a Pelican brand. Well, no Pelicans on my Mad Cats, but it had that fight stick for it. You know, that you could pre-order and whatnot, and so I pre-ordered it because I wanted a stick. You know, I was looking for a stick to buy, and no one around me had one at the time, so I pre-ordered that thinking I would be able to get it. You know, which I'm still thinking about purchasing it, but I'm just not entirely sure, because I heard that PDP sticks are awful. You know, and I'm thinking about getting it just so I can do like a comparison video. Just because now my curiosity is piqued, you know, like now I want to know if it's really that bad, you know, because I don't think it could be that bad, you know. And again, if you're watching the video still, you can see I'm dropping combos left and right, just because I'm still not entirely used to playing with a stick. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm far from the person you should be watching to figure for arcade stick tips. I'm just telling you what has worked for me and what is good with this, what is good about this particular stick, and that's the fact that it's actually really responsive. You know, like, it's, if you're doing poorly, it's not the stick's fault. You know, like, it's literally, it's you. You know, you have to look at yourself and figure out what can I adjust about myself. You know, what's weird is one of the things that a lot of people complain about is having troubles with on this game was just the fact of the fireball input. As you can see, I'm whiffing it, you know, right now. Like, I'm not consistent with it or anything like that. It's just you have to get used to the travel. You know, like, you don't have to go all the way down and over just to get it. You know, it just requires minimal effort, you know, to put it in. And as you can see, I'm still fucking it up. You know, I'm not used to how these things work or whatnot. So it's just, you gotta get used to how everything plays out to get consistently good with it. And I mean, that's like anything. Anything you buy, you have to put in the time and dedication to figure it all out. But anyways, that's it for that. You know, hopefully, if you found this entertaining or somewhat useful, or, you know, anything whatsoever, just let me know. And I, like, thank you everyone for watching. You know, like, I'm not sure what else to say. If you guys want to see any more of this from me, even though I'm getting my ass whooped, just let me know. I put a couple of videos up of this, and a lot. It got a few dislikes. You know, I'm not sure why. You know, it was just me messing around with a buddy of mine. But anyways, guys, have fun. Thanks for watching. And I definitely recommend this stick if you can come across it. You know, there's nothing bad that I could say about this stick, you know, except for, you know, it's very bland. It's not pretty or anything like that. It's just, you know, like, it's just there, you know, like, what you're paying for is the quality of the build, not how pretty it looks. And it's pretty solid. I thoroughly enjoy it, you know, and it's just one of those things, you know, like, you get what you pay for, and it's definitely worth it, you know, in terms of the quality. But anyways, guys, this was MysticSpade. Thanks for watching. Later.